What makes someone truly rational? Is it intelligence? Education? The ability to win arguments? What if true rationality has nothing to do with IQ scores or even degrees, and everything to do with how you relate to yourself? What if the ancient Stoics have already mapped out the exact characteristics that separate genuinely rational people from those merely pretending to be? Today we're going to explore what Marcus Aurelius defined as the three pillars of a rational mind and how developing them could transform your life. These are the characteristics of a rational soul: self-awareness, self-examination, and self-determination. It reaps its own harvest, it succeeds on its own. This is profound. Marcus Aurelius isn't defining rationality as most people do today. He's not talking about logic puzzles or formal arguments. He's identifying three internal capacities that make someone truly rational: the ability to know yourself, the courage to question yourself, the freedom to decide for yourself. Think about the last important decision you made. Did you make it based on what others expected or expected? Did you make it based on what society values? What your emotions demanded at the moment? Or did you first look inward to understand your true values? Then examine those values critically to ensure they're sound? And finally, make your decision based on your own judgment, regardless of what was popular or even convenient? The Stoics understood something, once again, profound. True rationality isn't about being coldly logical. It's about being authentically aligned with your deepest values and principles. It isn't just philosophy. Once again, folks, it's practical power. When you develop these three characteristics, self-awareness frees you from the prison of unconscious reactions and habitual thinking. Self-examination protects you from self-deception and the uncomfortable lies that we will tell ourselves. Self-determination liberates you from the tyranny of others and their expectations, as well as society's default settings. Ooh, I love this, folks, because once again, we're talking about the notion of freedom in the truest sense while being true to yourself. And perhaps most valuable, you develop integrity. Because when your actions align with your examined values, you reap your own harvest and you succeed in your own purpose. All right, so here's how to practice these three characteristics today. For self-awareness, I want you guys to spend 5 minutes in quiet reflection. Notice your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment. Just simply observe what's happening within you. For self-examination, ask yourself about one belief you hold strongly. Why do I believe this? What evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? Am I open to being wrong? Now for self-determination, identify one decision you're facing. Make it based solely on your examined values, not on what others expect or what's easiest in the moment. Ask yourself, how often do I make decisions to please others rather than follow my own examined judgment? What beliefs or opinions have I adopted without any critical examination? In what areas of my life am I allowing external forces such as social media, advertising, peer pressure to override my self-determination? The world will never stop trying to tell you who to be, what to value, how to live. But today, Marcus Aurelius offers you a path to true rationality, the ability to know yourself, question yourself, and ultimately determine your own course. Not through rejecting others' wisdom, not through stubborn independence, but through the profound practice of eternal enlightenment. Remember, a rational person isn't someone who wins every argument. It's someone who has the courage to look inward, the honesty to examine what they find, and the integrity to act accordingly. Folks, develop that self-awareness, self-examination, and self-determination, and your rational soul is here awaiting you. Now, I got some other things to add on, so please stick around. let's talk about the historical context of all of this, right? Socrates famously declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. He emphasized the importance of self-examination. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from distinguishing between what we can control, such as our judgments and actions, and what we cannot, a form of self-awareness and self-determination. The Stoics developed these ideas during times of, once again, tremendous social pressure and political danger, when following the crowd could lead to moral compromise or worse. Today, psychological research confirms that what the Stoics thought of. Studies in metacognition show that self-awareness, which is the ability to observe your own thinking, is crucial for learning and growth. Research on cognitive biases demonstrate that without deliberate self-examination, we fall prey to dozens of thinking errors that distort our perception of reality. And studies on autonomy consistently find that people who make decisions based on internal values rather than external pressures report greater well-being and life satisfaction. When Marcus called out the characteristics of a rational soul, or I should say what Marcus called the characteristics of a rational soul, is what science recognizes as the foundation of psychological health. There is a profound freedom in realizing that rationality isn't about conforming to external standards or logic or intelligence. It's about developing internal coherence, where your awareness, your critical thinking, and your choices all align. As you move through your day, remember self-awareness asks, what am I experiencing right now? Self-determination asks, is this experience based on truth? Self-determination asks, what action aligns with my examined values? When these three work in harmony, you become what Marcus Aurelius called a rational soul, one that reaps its own harvest rather than living off the fruits of others' thinking. In a world that's increasingly outsourcing our thinking to experts, and social media, folks, cultivating these three characteristics may be the most radical act of freedom available. Guys, thanks for listening. I thought today's video is increasingly more relevant than anything I could think of. So apply this. I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Is this something that I have to work on myself? And I'm happy to learn about this, read about this, research it, and then share it with you guys. Check out The Daily Stoic. I have that link in the description of this video. It's a very profound book. I hope it transforms your world for the better. I'm out.